Hello to my replay viewers, and hello to those coming in. I am sorry I'm so late today. I was having major Periscope issues. It would not give me the option to start the broadcast. It was just saying initializing broadcast, so I reinstalled the app and shut my phone down and restarted, and nothing worked. And finally I noticed that I could get the start broadcast button. So that is why I am so late, but I'm glad you're here. So thanks for coming in. In case you're new, I am Melissa from MakerySpace.com, which is a website where I like to educate and equip Etsy sellers in the more left-brained aspects of running a creative business. Hello, Tracy and Lynn and Alicia and Wendy. I see you just popped in. And I'm on Periscope pretty much every weekday. Rachel, right? Married in May? It wasn't working for you either, Mandy? It must have just happened. Or just started working again. I looked at both of my accounts to see if any of the people that I follow had scoped recently, and the closest one was an hour ago, which wouldn't be normal because there's a couple people that scope during that time that weren't on there. So I'm not sure what was happening, but I'm glad that I wasn't alone. So today I just want to talk a little bit about what is too much information to offer buyers. And this was kind of this came to my mind when I saw a post in a group that I'm in who was this person was saying that she had been working about a week ahead on her turnaround time, which is about 4 weeks, and she'd been about a week ahead, which is awesome. We talked in a scope a couple weeks ago about how you can create margin for your shop so when life happens, you are not getting behind. So working a week ahead, fabulous idea. The problem is that she told her customers, some of her customers, hey Alyssa, that she was a week ahead. Can you see what the potential problem is with that? You tell customers you're working a week ahead, and then when life happens and you're not working a week ahead, you have set up this expectation that their orders are going to be sent a week ahead. So then you have to tell them, or if you don't tell them, because really you're not obligated to, then you're getting convos about, oh, I thought you said you were a week ahead. Why hasn't mine shipped? So one thing that I think is too much information for customers is where you're at in your workflow process, unless you're going to be running behind. And then I think as a courtesy, you absolutely need to let them know, adjust their shipping date, depending on the time frame, possibly even refund their shipping or offer some sort of compensation for that, for the inconvenience. But I do not recommend telling customers that you are ahead of your schedule unless you want to set yourself up to be possibly disappointing them if that margin decreases somehow in your life. So that's one thing. Another thing is you don't need to tell them personal issues that are affecting, like let's say you do need to change their shipping date. Don't go into detail about, they don't need to know that your grandma died and you had to go to her funeral and then you had to stay there because your uncle went in for surgery or whatever. Play that one by ear. If there's a regular customer that you kind of have that rapport with, then that's fine. But you don't need to offer a bunch of personal details as to why something needs to happen or be adjusted. Be professional about it, but yeah, keep it simple. Just tell the bare minimum. Don't leave them hanging and not contact them, but you don't need to spell out the entire story. Okay, you are a business. There's just some things that they don't need to know. Another thing that I think is too much information that you do not need to give to buyers is where you get your materials or how you make your products. You will sometimes, yes, I do that sometimes too. Jana, is that how you pronounce your name? Sometimes I will do that if I'm going to be a day late. I'll upgrade to priority because then that can be less expensive than refunding the shipping in full. It just depends. But I usually try to reach out in that way and provide good customer service when I have quoted a shipping date. So I sometimes, yes, see people, it amazes me actually that people send convos asking, I think because sometimes there's this hobby mentality with Etsy. So people view it as that most of us are on there just selling some things that we like to make, but it's mostly just a hobby and not a business. So then they're like, oh, well, tell me where to get that because I want to make some of that too. And I have gotten lots of those convos. So there's a few different ways you can handle that. You can ignore it. I've done that sometimes. You can just give a really brief reply about, yeah, you can, you can give kind of a generic reply, maybe like I get it online or something. I get most of it online, or I buy it locally. If you don't want to ignore them, but I got it on Google. But you're not obligated to tell people where you got your things. And you can play that one by ear. There could be some circumstances where you have a sense that they're not trying to, get all your secrets and copy you. Like one time I had someone who was actually a customer. She had actually made a purchase from me of a wallet, but she wanted to cover her stools in her kitchen with laminated cotton. And she was just wondering where a good place would be to get it. So I didn't feel like she was probing for what I use, where I source my materials, that kind of thing. She was just kind of clueless about that kind of fabric and knew that's what she wanted to use. And I was happy to tell her one place that I get it. Now, I do a lot of digging into Google to source some of my products. I try to find the best deals I can. And I try to find, like, sometimes there'll be discontinued fabrics that I really like and that customers like. And I spend some time searching to see if I can find fabric shops that might have some left. And so I spend a lot of time doing that. And I am not going to just tell people where I got it when I might have spent an hour even trying to find that one fabric that I really want to be able to restock in my shop. So, but I'll give a generic thing like, fabric.com. It's not like this huge secret that fabric.com carries fabric, or even laminated cotton. So I'm fine saying I get some of mine from fabric.com. That's not a problem. Another thing that I don't think that you have to explain to customers is your pricing. Like, let's say you raise your prices a little bit, or maybe they see a post or something online that's older, and it gives the price of your product. Maybe a blogger did a post about it, or they find it somewhere, and it's an old price. You don't need to explain why you raised your prices. Okay, that happens. Prices go up with businesses. Don't feel like you have to go into because it takes me this long and because the cost of materials went up. You don't have to give a buyer all your reasons for raising prices. That's not an obligation that you have. And sometimes, the economy made me do it, yeah. Sometimes giving too much information can come across as defensive. You don't have to be on the defensive. Raising prices is part of what has to happen as material prices go up. There's a whole bunch of different reasons that prices could go up. But if you go on the defensive where you feel like you have to really explain it and go into detail, it's almost like you're trying to cover up why you did it, or trying to justify it when it doesn't really need any justification. So yeah, someone just commented that the basic bottom line is kind of less is more when it comes to providing information to buyers that has to do with the behind the scenes stuff with your products. Now, obviously, if it has to do with the product itself that the buyer is interested in or purchasing, then yes, answer those questions. Provide great customer service to that buyer. But as far as decisions that you make as a seller, or your timeline or that kind of thing, you do not have to lay it out on the table. Every single detail, every single reason, exactly how far ahead you're working, how far behind you are, nothing like that. Okay? Does anybody else have any input on that? Some things that you've found that you've had to tailor your responses to not feel like you have to provide too many details when you're asked? Okay. Well, I hope that's helpful to you if you've encountered some of those situations. And I will be back tomorrow. Sometimes with the how, yeah. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Alicia. I think you cut off in the middle of a word. Another donation, yes. Yeah, that's not necessarily a buyer, but that's definitely a convo you could get. You don't have to go into this lengthy explanation of why you're not able to donate to their cause. I think we talked about this in a scope a couple weeks ago, but I will say something like I try to keep my donations, contributions local to causes or people that I know personally. And I think that can totally come across as not offensive and understandable, instead of you just saying, no, I don't know you, that kind of thing. And you guys, honestly, if you're getting asked a lot on Etsy, report it as spam. It is wrong. They're not supposed to be doing that. And so if you're getting a lot of those, I would just go ahead and mark that, because sometimes people literally create Etsy accounts only to ask for donations. They're not buying necessarily, and they're not selling. They're just on there to try to get stuff. So I don't feel bad marking those as spam. Somebody just asked something or mentioned something else that I missed. Okay. Put it in your policies. Yeah, that's another thing that you could do. Although I'm not sure those people who come to request even look at policies. They probably just look at shops that they like and then automatically ask for donations. Oh, yeah, that was what it was, Kareth. Yeah, people asking you how to get started on Etsy. Etsy, there's a lot of things that are kind of hard to find in the Etsy handbook. But when it comes to getting started and all the logistics of setting up a shop, it's all right there. So you could just be helpful in pointing them to that, find that help article and just link them to that help article and just say, Etsy does a really great job of walking you through how to get your shop started, get your name, get things listed, that kind of thing. Then they're feeling like you're helping them, but you're not spending paragraphs and paragraphs trying to explain to them how to do it when you don't really need to, because it's already provided. Oh, really? Yeah, it's probably harder when it's family too, that family or friends that you are being asked the questions of. But there's some things that you just don't need to reinvent the wheel, because that information is out there, and it's much easier for a person to follow those steps. And there's always also links within that help article to other things, so they can have that visual and just follow along right there instead of you trying to explain everything in a convo. Yeah, it's kind of surprising how many people don't seem to look in Etsy help for answers. That's a really, that's a really good question, Rachel. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead, Lynn. You can send me a message. One thing, just to make sure that you have cleared the cache on all your devices, because sometimes even if you'd cleared the cache on your laptop, if your laptop and phone are connected, like let's say you're on Android and use Chrome on both or something, it can affect whether or not you see the new shop design. Excuse me. So clear the cache on your laptop browser, your mobile phone browser, everywhere that you can think of. Even log out of and back in to your shop and to Google. Try those different things and see if, then restart your phone and your computer and see if maybe that takes care of it. If you do all those things and you still don't have the new layout, it's possible that your account hasn't been rolled out yet. One interesting thing I noticed is I had downloaded Firefox the other day just because I needed to do something, show something in a video of how to do it on Firefox, and I'd never had Firefox on my laptop. And when I loaded Firefox and went to my shop, it was in the old layout. So that's kind of strange, because there was no cache to clear on Firefox. So I don't really have an explanation for that one. I don't know if someone else does. Yeah, it was really weird. But on everything else, I was seeing the new design. I had originally seen it on my phone, but not on my laptop. And as soon as I cleared my Chrome cache, then it showed on my laptop. So that is how to troubleshoot. And then if that, like I said, if that doesn't work, you probably just don't have it rolled out to your personal Etsy account. Anything else? Alrighty, I will be back on tomorrow, and unless Periscope is having more issues, I'll be back at my normal time around 10:30ish. Yeah, but the thing is, someone else checking Kareth doesn't work because it's not by shop, it's by account. So someone else, like right now, I would see your shop in the new design because my Etsy account itself has had the new design rolled out. So even if you're just a buyer and you don't own a shop, that can be rolled out to your account and you will see every shop in the new design. Okay, that's how that works. Yeah, it's kind of confusing when you are also a shop owner. It makes you think my shop is showing this certain way to everyone. No, it's whoever's looking at your shop. It depends on if they've had it rolled out. Alrighty, I will hopefully talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day.